Hello and welcome back to Lucia's Skiing Podcast. Today we are going to be looking at some of mine and my brother Tony's ski trick videos of 360s and backflips to help you guys correct some of the mistakes that you might be making in your learning process. First, we are going to look at my 360 and the progression of that and some of the mistakes that I made during that learning process. So when learning how to do a 360, I started with my 180, and then once I got that down, I moved on to going for the full rotation, but I would suggest just really trying to get that 180 down in an environment where you're not going to get hurt. So I started on the train park on that little jump. You can also easily build a jump in your backyard or wherever you feel comfortable practicing and starting to learn this trick. So this is a look at one of my first 360s that I did and that I landed. You can see that I landed a little bit in the back seat there, but we get that corrected up. But now let's look at some of my wipe. In this next video, you're going to see me try really hard for my 360, and I sort of have to throw my body, and that is all because of the takeoff. I do not pop up enough. My knees don't go fully straight, and then I end up falling flat on my back. And so just really make sure that in your takeoff, you are being really explosive, and you can even practice this on the ground, making sure that when you bend your knees and jump up, that your knees are coming up into a full straight extension. That way you won't have to work as hard to rotate your body around. In that video, you can also see me drop my shoulder, and that also throws off the rotation of my 360 and ultimately has me landing on the ground. This next video is a much bigger takeoff, and I would not suggest this until you are landing 360s very consistently off of smaller jumps. But how you would land a larger 360 like this is just making sure that you are aware of where you are in the air so you can be ready to land and absorb that shock in your knees, and make sure that you're landing in an athletic position, ready to hit the ground, stomp it, and keep skiing. Now moving on to looking at some of Tony's backflips and looking at his takeoff and landing tactics to maybe help you land those backflips just a little bit better. This is a video of my brother's first backflip, and as you can see, he takes off a little bit early and then ends up landing on his back because he was rotating too much. This is one of my favorite videos. Ben and Tony, they were so excited. It's so cute at the end. You can see them hug. But now that he has learned more, he understands that he actually has more time in the air to rotate than he originally thought. So just be patient in your takeoff and make sure that you're not taking off too early, or else you're going to be over rotating and landing on your back. And it's just all about practice and perfecting that takeoff time and air awareness and all of that. This next video gives you a really good look on how Tony is taking off and tucking. We can see him there go off, grab his knees, and then ultimately land. He doesn't land it because this was a really big one, big jump, but in theory, he pops right up, and that was a very clean backflip. And so I just think that video could be really helpful for you guys to look at and see what that takeoff looks like and how hard you really need to tuck to get into that rotation. Whatever trick that you are trying to learn, I can't express to you enough that practice makes perfect and safety is the number one priority. I'm going to talk about a few things that help me and my brother make sure that we're safe during our learning process. The first thing that we do is we make sure to never try a trick on skis first, meaning we either try to go off a diving board with the trick or go to training facilities with ramps and do it on skis into a foam pit, possibly even doing it on the ground. I remember when I was training for my 360, I would literally just jump off the ground and spin around, making sure that I could do a 360, even doing that with skis on or whatever you feel comfortable with doing. I also remember going off diving boards and thinking about how that would translate to doing it on skis, and just making sure that when you're tired, you need to stop, because once you get tired of the repetition of trying the trick over and over again, that is the point where you are going to get hurt, you're going to get sloppy, and you're going to make mistakes that will compromise your health. My brother tore his ACL doing a 720. I'll insert the video here. This video wasn't even taken of my brother trying to learn how to do a 720. It was just at the end of the day, and he went way too big. He ended up tearing his ACL in that video, so you can just never be too careful, even when you have learned a trick. The newest trick that my brother is working on is a cork 7. He is still in the ramp phase with this trick. I would definitely suggest doing trial runs in a facility like this if you have access to it. Super cool trick, but definitely not something that you would want to just go out and throw for the first time on the snow. So just make sure you're being smart about your tricks and assessing your athletic ability, and just understanding if you have limits, what are they, and how can you work through those limits in a safe way. Overall, I hope you learned something new, or at least found this entertaining. Be safe out there, and good luck with your next trick. See you next time. Bye.